Hi there, we are told to solve this mass UTME question. What do we do when we have this nature of question? What we're going to do is that we're going to take the question step by step. There are three important rules of indices that we're going to be applying here. The rule of multiplication, the rule of division, and the rule of negative index power. Now, let's look at the solution. Let's write out the question first. 3 to the power of n minus 3 to the power of n minus 1, or divide by 3 to the power of 3 times by 3 to the power of n minus 27 times by 3 to the power of n minus 1. Now, the first thing is to deal with the numerator. Let's deal with the numerator. Now, we know that this 3nb, that is, note that 3 to the power of n minus 1 is the same thing as 3 to the power of n times by 3 to the power of minus 1. Therefore, 3 to the power of n minus 3 to the power of n minus 1, which is this numerator, is equals to 3 to the power of n minus 3 to the power of n times by 3 to the power of minus 1. Now, notice that I have a negative index here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to reduce this negative index, because I know that 3 to the power of minus 1 is the same thing as 1 over 3. Where did I get that from? From the rule of negative index, which states that if x to the power of minus 1 is the same thing as 1 over x. That's where I got this from. Now, I need to know that my new equation becomes 3 to the power of n minus 3 to the power of n times by 1 over 3. Now, what I need to do is that I need to factor out 3n from this expression. So what I'm going to have is that the expression will now become 1 minus 1 over 3 and 3n if I factor out 3n. Now, I need to deal with the bracket. Now, if I deal with the bracket, I will redefine this equation to become minus 1 over 3 plus 1. And if I do that, that will give me 2 over 3. Now, what I have in this bracket is now that 2 over 3 times by 3 raised to the power of n. Now, you need to keep this at the back of your mind. We have to keep this somewhere. Now, let us solve for the denominator. The denominator, which is this guy, is equals to 3 raised to the power of 3 times by 3 raised to the power of n minus 27 times by 3 raised to the power of n minus 1. We know that 3 raised to the power of 3 is equals to 27. We know that 3n minus 1 is the same thing as 3 raised to the power of n times by 3 raised to the power of minus 1. So if we have known that, what we're going to do is that my new equation, which is all these expressions, will now become that 3 to the power of 3 times by 3 to the power of n times by 3 to the power of 3, which is this guy, times by 3 to the power of n times by 3 to the power of minus 1. So having done that, I notice that there is, there's a negative sign here, negative sign from this side. Notice that there is a 3, there's a 3 here. So what I have is 3 raised to the power of 3 times by 3 raised to the power of n minus 3 raised to the power of 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1, this subtract this, times by 3 raised to the power of n. So my new equation will now become that 3 raised to the power of 3 times by 3 raised to the power of n minus 3 raised to the power of 2 times by 3 raised to the power of n. Now I need to factor 3 raised to the power of 2 and then 3 raised to the power of n from this expression. Now, if I've done that, that will be 3 raised to the power of 2, and then I have also times by 3 raised to the power of n in a bracket, I have that it is 3 minus 1. So remember, I still have this what I have in that expression if I factor this expression. So what do? What I'm going to do, I need a space for myself now. What we're going to do is that my new expression or my new equation becomes that 3 raised to the power of 2 times by 3 raised to the power of n, and then 3 minus 1, that is 2. Now, having done that, I need to bring this equation, this guy over here, which is 2 raised to the power of 3 times by 3 raised to the power of n, all divided by 3 raised to the power of 2 times by 3 raised to the power of n, and I have 2. Then notice that we're going to apply the rule of division. In the rule of division, this guy will cancel out this guy. So what I have is now equals to, what I have is equals to 2 over 3 divided by 3 raised to the power of 2 times by 2. Now I'm going to, this equation means 2 over 3 times by 1 over 3 raised to the power of 2 times by 2. Notice that I have 2 over here and I also have 2 over here. So what I have will now become that 1 over 3 times by 3 raised to the power of 2. Now what I have, it will become 1 times by 3 raised to the power of 2, that is 9. And then 3 times by 9, I think that is 1 over 27. So this is my final answer. The final answer over here is 1 over 27. So if you are following me and then you say, why is it factorizing? How did you get the factorization? Well, we have a series of videos on factorization. You can follow, you can subscribe so that you can see those series and new updates when they are updated. So let's get to the next question. The next question is very easy. The next question is very easy. That one says that 0.8 raised to the power of 2 minus 0.16 raised to the power of 2. So what we're going to do here is that we need to convert this thing to fraction. Now it is 0.1 over 1, and then we have over there a numerator and a denominator. It is one decimal place, so we're multiplying by 10, we're multiplying by 10. 0.8 times 10, that will give me 8, and then 1 times 10, that will give me 10. So if I reduce this fraction by 2, what I have is 4 over 5. Remember, everything is raised to the power of 2. I want to deal with that guy. 0.16 divided by 1 times by 10 times by 10. And now what I'm going to have, when I multiply this, this will become 16. And then when I multiply this will become 10. I can reduce this by 2, reduce this by 2. It becomes 8 over 5. Remember, we're raising to the power of 2. So having done that, the next thing to do now is that we have that 4 over 5 raised to the power of 2 minus 8 over 5 raised to the power of 2. Now I need a calculator now. Now if I say 4 raised to the power of 2, 4 raised to the power of 2, that is 16. So I have 16 over 5 raised to the power of 2, that is 25, minus 8 raised to the power of 2 now. Now 8 raised to the power of 2, that will give me 64. I have 64 divided by 25. Now I have the same base. What I have is 16 minus 64 over 25. So if I've done that, what I'm going to have is 16 minus 64 is going to give me 16 minus 64. Let's do it again. 16 minus 64, that will give me minus 48. So what I'm going to have is minus 48 over 25. Notice that I can reduce this equation. I can reduce by 2. So 48 divide by 2. That will give me 24. So I can have minus 24. Can I still reduce? I don't think I can reduce anymore because 2 cannot go into 5. if 2 cannot go into 5, that means this equation cannot be further reduced. I was thinking that 2 can go here, so 2 cannot go. So this is the final answer. So